Hey everybody, what up? Scuffy here, and we got ourselves a little recruit level catch up. It's been a while since I've done recruit level trainings. These are videos designed strictly for newer players, introductions to certain mechanics and concepts within the game. So if you're a veteran player, you probably already know these things. You use these things all the time. These aren't familiar to you. No need checking this video out. But please recommend it to any new players who are joining the game or who are interested in playing the game. Send them the way. Have them check out these videos if they want to play a certain faction or try something, or if they've got questions about how something works. So, with that, we're going to be talking about mutations. Mutations are mostly exclusive to the Ruinstorm faction. They are a ability here that's a mutate, gives a mutation to a friendly demon troop. Mutation gives a random buff, and it also reduces a demon if it has maintenance. It reduces their maintenance by 1. So that's actually very handy to have. Let's go ahead and take a look at the collection here just so you can kind of see what all of the mutations look like when you get them. It gives you a choice of 3, one of 3 options. You've got one that gives you frontline, you've got one that gives you ward, that's a counterattack, that one that gives you cleave 2, you've got one that gives you unstoppable and +1/+1 as well as terror, and then you've got one that gives you +3/+0, and you've got one that gives you flank, another that gives your troop poisonous and +0/+2, one that gives it rage, deal 1 damage to all enemies, and Stupefying Musk, which gives Survivor 2. So there's a bevy of different buffs that you can give your troops. On top of that, as I said, if you put it onto demons who have got a maintenance cost on them already, like Terror Hounds, they've got maintenance 2, they get the mutation so they gain the buff, and then they also have their maintenance lowered by 1. So not only do they gain Survivor 2, for instance, they gain maintenance 1, so now you've got a 5/3 Survivor 2 and only 1 maintenance. It's very nice. It comes in really handy against these higher demons that you're using here, with whether it be Teloth, who's got a maintenance of 3 as well as fairly decent stats, or you're moving into Yuria the Seducer, Father Decay, and of course Slayer of Worlds. You just imagine 7 of those different variants. Put a Slayer of Worlds and give him Ward and Survivor 2, Frontline, Unstoppable +1/+1, and then you've lowered his maintenance significantly. Now, on top of that, what's very important to note is that mutations can be applied multiple times. So you don't just have to apply demonic wings once. If you get 3 or 4 demonic wings, you can put them on the same troop. Their wings just get bigger, right? Some of these abilities you would only need to have on a troop once, such as Terror or Frontline or Ward. But if you put on Cleave 2 and you put a second Cleave 2, you have a troop with Cleave 4. So you can see the way that these go. So to get that started and kind of highlight and show, just do a little practice game. I've got a deck here. We've got mutates in it. We've got a lot of ways to make mutates. We've got some troops that make mutations. There currently isn't a warlord that makes mutations, so we're just not going to have that option. And let's throw in there a couple. Do we have everything here? Let's put in some troops that come in play with mutations, because there are a couple of those as well. This is an earlier deck when I first started playing Ruinstorm, before I had all the cards, and I have quite a few more of the cards now. These would be good to have. So first off, Chaos Fury comes in play with mutations. Let's see here. Latil gains buffs from mutations. Here's another that comes into play with mutation. Herald of Slaanesh gives mutations. I'm just looking for ways to give us mutations, guys, so we can really highlight and see. This is another good one. Let's put him in place of Yuria. And we'll go with that. We'll do a little practice game here, and you can kind of see how the mutations go. The mutations are very standard. They all cost 1 energy, but the wonderful thing about them is that they give you a lot of options, and that's very important in any game, is having options. Doing damage there, especially in late game if you've got 3 or 4 mutations in your hand and you play those out there onto troops, bolster them up, and then all of a sudden their abilities get stronger, or they have ways to increase their attack. I'm going to go ahead and play this mutation right now just for the sake of it. So you get these three things here. You've got deal 1 damage to all enemies, you've got ward, cleave 2. Let's go ahead and take the Molten Blood. Now every time, that's a permanent buff, it's going to go ahead and deal 1 damage to all enemies. And he's got that. Give that to him again, and he's going to deal 1 damage, and then he's going to deal another 1 damage to all enemies. I want to get a mutation and put it on Beast of Fire up, and then you can see what they look like when they have no maintenance. So let's have a troop that generates a mutate. We're going to keep that in our hand this turn, and we'll play it next turn. I'm almost tempted to play Demon Chosen as he comes in with a rally, but we will see. Actually, I'm not going to be playing any troops this time around. We've got a full board. Just fast forward through this here. Alright, first off, let's go ahead and let's give ourselves some breathing room, shall we? Okay, we've got some reduced demons. Let's go ahead and throw out Beast of Fire up. Let's give him that mutate. Excellent. We're going to give him Unstoppable +1/+1. So then he goes up to 5/6, and then as you can see here, he's got -2 cost. He's also got maintenance -1 down there at the demonic wings. So that's always a nice little thing to have. Then let's bring in the Demon Chosen. I want to showcase the highlight. You get a rally effect. You can become very quickly dangerous. Very fast in danger. Fast in danger. Oh, alright. Well, we'll take that. I think we can handle that just fine, although that is some high rolls, Space Cat Bot. Come on, guys. Alright, it's all about... See, now with that -1 maintenance, we only have 2 energy down, which is a good place to be. Let's use it on some mutations. Let's gain some. Get a little bit of that. Give him a little bit of the terror. And we'll go ahead and slashy slash. Let's go ahead and have... Oh yeah, why not? 5. Oh, that's weird. And we'll leave it at that. That's a good board. So that's how mutations work, guys. They don't do much different, but late game, if they are left unprotected, they can do devastating things. This guy is going to become a beast this very next turn. With 8 energy, just for grins, I'm going to go ahead and give myself some juice. Let's give him ward. That is probably one of the best mutations to have out there. Let's give him +3/+0. And then let's play Unrestricted Frenzy and boost everybody up. And just go to town. Shall we? As you can see, all he needs here now is Survivor multiple times, and he's really going to get strong. And with a warded mutated demon, your opponent really is going to have trouble doing much of anything. So even though I'm low in health, I can bring out a lot of ways to win the game. That's really what the Ruinstorm does, right? Let's go ahead and give myself cleave. Let's go ahead and up my attack. And see if we can up our health, and we'll do it one more time. Just this one trip. And granted, this is a highlight of the Chosen, which is an amazing legendary card. But to highlight how crazy mutations can be on one troop right away, especially if you build them up over the course of turns. So that's what they do. Now, in terms of how do you fight or how do you play against mutations, which is the other half of the other part of this recruit level video, you really have to take care of those troops that do mutations right away. Now, you can't control if your opponent has got mutations in hand, although you can be aware of cards that create mutations and try to limit their effectiveness. Get rid of those cards, and then if you see a card that has got a mutation on it, or has the ability to snowball mutations, get rid of those. Don't let them snowball. Don't let them gain mutations. Don't let them give mutations. That's really all you can do. And you gotta hope for luck that they don't get ward or survivor. Otherwise, use your hard removal, deal damage out there as quickly as possible, because once they get ward or survivor, the odds of them increasing more mutations that can do more things over the course of time just really increase exponentially. So that's really it. You just have to deal with those threats. Now, if you don't see any mutations on the board, you're sitting pretty, but the minute you begin to see mutations appear or your opponent having options to create mutations, that's what you need to address it. So it's fairly simple, straightforward. As I said, you gotta rely on a little bit of luck. Sometimes your opponent might get stymied, they might not get some good mutations, but if you let it sit, you're going to give them more time to have better luck. So that is it. That is Mutations. I hope that's been useful. If you're new to the game, I hope it's been useful. I don't know if it's useful for people who aren't, but that's the whole point of the Recruit Level series. It's really to just showcase these mechanics, what they do, how they work. And if you've got any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Till next time, guys, keep playing Legions.